My brother and I always discuss whether, the saying, well, they're family, and whether that means you should be nicer to them because they're family, or they should be nicer to you because they're family. I mean, is it that we give people the benefit of the doubt because they're our family, and what are you going to do? Even if you're mad at them, you still have to love them. Or is it your family should treat you better than they might treat someone they just met on the street? So this comes up a lot. I'm currently working on a memoir about my family, and I think about this a lot. And I think maybe this started for me when I was a junior in college. I had a scholarship to attend college. I had a job on campus that paid for my housing. What wasn't covered by that was covered by loans, and I had an off-campus job. So I was sort of flush for a college student. Like, not super flush, but like, I could go to the mall and buy a sweater if I wanted to. Or like sometimes my boyfriend and I went to TGI Fridays for dinner and I would pay. Like that level of flush. Like it was fine. And my brother at the time was throwing raves in Pittsburgh. And what that means, for those of you who don't know how to, throw a rave, is he would have to book a venue, pay, that costs money, pay DJs, book a sound company, book a lighting company, book a security company. He would make that back in ticket sales, but the full outlay comes months ahead of time. So occasionally my brother would ask me for some money, and when I say ask, what I mean is my brother would say, I need $1,500, and if I didn't give it to him, he wouldn't talk to me for a couple weeks. But it's fine because I had it, and I was flush, and I always got it back, and it was a very transactional relationship, but it worked. And so one day I was sitting in my dorm room, this is landline time, 1995, and I got a call on my campus phone, and it was someone from MBNA, very nice lady, wanted to make sure I knew that when you take a cash advance on a credit card, the interest starts accruing immediately. And I was like, actually, I don't know that. Thanks for sharing. I haven't taken a cash advance. And she was like, you did. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I knew at one point I had given my brother like an extra card because he just kept calling me for money and it was just easier. So I was like, all right, thanks for letting me know. She's like, this isn't fraud, maybe? And I was like, no, it's not fraud. It's my brother. Like, I'll deal with it. Thank you. And I said, but just in case, can I have your name and, if I need to call you back? And she's like, right. So it's like, I don't remember her name. Let's say Susie. No one knows differently. From MBNA. And I'm writing it down. I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't have an MBNA credit card. And she was like, oh, yeah, you do. I was like, whoa. And I was like, okay, why? Okay, thank you. I will call you back. I'm sure it's fine. And I call my brother and I lose my shit. I'm like, everything you ask me for, I do. And he's like, oh, it's not me. Like, yeah, everything I ask you for, you do. Like, I wouldn't do that. So I call the friendly MBNA lady back and I say, okay, now I'm confused. Do you have any more details for me? And she was like, well, we can tell you that we were concerned because the card was like signed up for at a Pittsburgh mailing address and you live in Virginia. And when we get a new registration and an immediate cash advance, we are concerned. And I was like, can you tell me the Pittsburgh address? And she did, and it was my dad. So when I was a junior in college was the first time my dad stole from me, committed identity theft, impacted my credit score. And it was right before spring break. Everyone was finishing up midterms and getting ready to go away for the week. A bunch of my guy friends were headed out to the West to do rock climbing and sleeping in tents. And I didn't want to go with them, but it would have been nice if they would have invited me. So I was already bumming about spring break and midterms, and now I have to go home and confront my father, who has stolen money from me and my identity. And the night that the guys were leaving for the West Coast, I went with them to a diner. I don't know why they thought it was smart to leave at midnight. Like, it didn't make any sense, but like, whatever. So we all go to a diner. I can't sleep. I can't work on my midterms. We go to a diner, and they're like pulling out to go to the West Coast, and they're leaving the two girls in the diner. And, you know, my friend is trying to help me as much as she can, but it's not easy. And we decide to go for a walk. And we're in Alexandria, Virginia, and we go for a walk, and we come across this like statue graveyard. Have any of you ever been there? There are these like huge heads the size of like Greek statue gods just lying on the ground. And I had never seen them before. I didn't know they were there. We were literally just wandering around the neighborhood. And I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense, because this is what my life looks like now. So here we are, 30 years later. My brother and I debate this topic every couple of months. Should family treat you better than someone on the street, or should you treat them better on the street? And we don't know the answer, but we keep talking about it.